Today we will be learning another topic about Western culture, and we are going to talk about I'm not sure if you know Shakespeare. Anyone know about Shakespeare?
I know.
Oh, really, Grim? What do you know about Shakespeare?
Uh, he is a author, writer.
Yes,
Uh,
author, writer.
he is right. Romeo and Juliet, right?
Ah, yes. Have you watched Romeo and Juliet?
Yes,
Yeah, it's a good movie, right?
yes.
All right. So right now, what we are going to learn is we are going to talk about him. Okay. So this is part of Western culture. Okay. So this is one of their history. All right. Now, thank you so much for that, Cream. Okay, let's go ahead and proceed with our discussion. All right. Before we learn some vocabulary, okay, we have a question. Okay, who is Shakespeare? Okay, why he is famous? Okay, he's well known, especially when it comes to writings. Okay, so let's go ahead and know him. Now, who is Shakespeare? Okay, so William Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. Now, he was born on April 1564, okay, in Stratford upon Avon in United Kingdom. And he died in April 23, 1616 at the same place. Okay, and he was married to Anne Hathaway, and he has three children, and their name is Hamnet Shakespeare, Susanna Hall, and Judith Queenie. All right, so let's have someone to read it for us again. Okay, Cream.
Yes.
Okay, can you please read it for us again?
Okay. Who is Shakespeare? William Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. Born April 1564, Stratford-upon-Avon, United Kingdom. Died April 23, 19, six, 16, 16, 1616, Stratford-upon-Avon, United Kingdom. Spurs in Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
Children: Hamnet Shakespeare, Susanna Hall, and Judith Queenie.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much, Cream. Okay. Can you repeat after me? Spouse.
Again, please.
Spouse.
Spouse.
Okay. So since we already know who is Shakespeare, now let's go ahead and continue. All right. To know more about him, we have a short video about Shakespeare by some of the well-known authors as well. All right, because the story about Shakespeare is not really clear. Okay, we don't have much record about him. So let's go ahead and watch this video.
William Shakespeare, one of the greatest authors of all time, was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. His actual birth date is uncertain, but most scholars believe he was born on or near April 23, 1564.
We think he may have been educated in the King's School at Stratford because that would have been typical for a child with a father who was an alderman. What we do know is that he didn't go to university.
We have a marriage record for Shakespeare to Anne Hathaway in 1585. We also have baptism records for a daughter and a set of twins. And we also know that his son, Hamnet, one of the twins, died.
Shakespeare moved to London in the late 1580s. By the early 1590s, we know he's writing, and we know that he's acting.
By 1597, Shakespeare had authored 15 of the 37 plays attributed to him, including Romeo and Juliet, Comedy of Errors, and The Merry Wives of Windsor.
People think of William Shakespeare as an artist, a playwright. He was a pretty good businessman.
In 1599, he built the largest open-air amphitheatre in London, the Globe Theatre.
He was an entrepreneur, he knew his market, he knew how to cater to that market, he made shrewd real estate investments.
Shakespeare's company, the Lord Chamberlain's Men, changed its name to the King's Men when King James became its patron in 1603. This was a mark of exceptional prestige.
The different types of Shakespeare plays, they're separated into histories, comedies, tragedies, and then later on tragicomedies.
Shakespeare's phrases, the ways he used words, are so common that people often get mixed up and can't remember if they came from the Bible or from Shakespeare. My grandmother used to say, when something bad happened, that these were the slings and arrows of everyday life. She was not an educated woman, and she didn't go to Shakespeare plays. She didn't get that one from the Bible.
What scholars call Shakespeare's middle period, from 1595 to 1605, included such classic comedies as Midsummer Night's Dream, As You Like It, Twelfth Night, and Much Ado About Nothing. He also produced Hamlet, Othello, and Macbeth during this period.
Right at the cusp where Shakespeare begins to write Lear, it tips into what we could call the later Shakespeare. And this period produces Lear, Antony and Cleopatra, Tempest, Winter's Tale, Pericles, Cymbeline.
Shakespeare wrote great stories. For example, one of the stories starts with a king who is tired. He doesn't want to govern anymore. So he says to his three daughters, I'm going to separate the kingdom between the three of you, but it's going to be based on who tells me how much they love me. However much you love me, that's how much of the kingdom you're going to get. Now that's going to make me sit up. I mean, what a way to start a story. And that's King Lear.
Shakespeare was not only a playwright, he also was a poet, partly because of economic necessity. During the early 1590s, plague closed the theaters in London, and there was quite a vogue for producing sonnets.
Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets, in addition to several narrative poems.
Shakespeare worked the English language, milked it for all it was worth, made up words if it didn't give him the right words. He is one of the first professional writers.
The details of William Shakespeare's death remain a mystery, but scholars believe he died on his birthday, April 23, 1616. In the 400 years since, Shakespeare's influence has only grown. His writing is the second most quoted after the Bible. He has been credited with introducing almost 3,000 words to the English language, and a Google search on Shakespeare returns more than 140 million results.
Shakespeare talked about the human condition. He explains to us how we think, how we feel, the human psyche. He eloquently explains it.
In the 18th century, questions arose about the authorship of Shakespeare's work, given the vague details we know of his life, his lack of higher education, and the similarity of his plays to others of the day. Today, most scholars believe Shakespeare wrote all his plays and sonnets.
I would argue that Shakespeare's legacy is the most influential figure in human civilization.
Now, let's go ahead. Okay, we are going to know more about him with our article, but before we learn about the article, let's go ahead and learn some vocabulary. Alright, so our first vocabulary we have is translated. Okay, everyone repeat after me. Translated.
Translated.
Alright, so when we say translated, 5/7.
Okay.
Okay, please read.
Translated to change words into a different language.
Okay, so translated meaning to change words into a different language. Okay, so like what we are doing nowadays, like we have Google Translate, okay, and from Thai word, it will be translated to English word. Okay, so as you can see here in our picture, okay, so hello in English, and then it was translated to Spanish, hola. Yes. You have also Thai. There's also a Thai. How do you say hello in Thai?
สวัสดี
Just sawadee. Okay.
เป็นไงบ้าง
เป็นไงบ้าง?
นี่ฮาว
Yeah, ni hao. We have also ciao. Ciao is Italy. All right. We also have bonjour. Bonjour is French. All right. So let's go to our next vocabulary. So we have rediscovered. Okay. Everyone, please repeat after me. Rediscovered.
Rediscovered.
All right. So when we say rediscovered, let's have 5/6/29.
Yes.
Okay. Are you Pin?
Yes.
Okay. Pin, please read.
To find something or someone again after learning
Losing.
or losing
Yeah.
or forgetting about it, him or her for a long time.
All right. One of the example we can use is that learning the history of the past is we can consider as we rediscovered the history of the past event of our ancestors. All right. Now let's go to the next one. We have writer. Okay, repeat after me. Writer.
Writer.
Okay. Thank you. Now let's go ahead with 5/6, number 36.
ฮะนะทีเชอร์
What's your nickname?
ปามี่
Pami. Okay, Pami. Please read.
writer a person who writes book or article to be published
All right. Again, published. Writes. Okay, so writer is a person who writes books or articles to be published. Okay, so the newspapers, all right, we cannot have newspapers if no one is writing the story or the article. All right, now let's go to our next vocabulary. We have retired. Okay, repeat after me. Retired.
Retired.
Okay. When we say retired, okay, Nawi, where are you? Nawi?
Hello,
Okay, Nawi. Retired Sakud alay?
RETIRED.
Okay. Puntam na. If someone
If someone
is retired,
is retired,
they have
they have
stopped working
stopped working
permanently.
temporarily,
Usually
usually
because of age.
because of age.
Okay, thank you, Nawi.
Thank you.
All right, so retired is if someone is retired, they have stopped working permanently, usually because of age, okay? So retired meaning they already stopped working, okay? This is common for the old people, okay? Here in Thailand, if you reach, I am not sure, if you reach 65 or 60, okay? You can stop working, all right? Now let's go to the next one. We have constantly. Okay, repeat after me. Constantly.
Constantly.
All right. So when we say constantly, okay, let's have from 5/7. Okay, 5/7. Number 5. Rawi. 13. What's your nickname?
Toy.
Boy. Okay. Boy, can you please read it for us? The meaning of constantly?
Continually.
Constantly. Okay, please read.
Continually.
All the time.
On often.
Alright, so constantly meaning all the time or often. So, thank you, boy. So, constantly, all the time or often. So, as you can see in our picture, okay, from picture 1, 2, 3, and 4, they are fighting. So, meaning they are always. Okay, the other word that we can use for constantly is always. Okay, they fight always, they fight constantly. Alright, now let's go to our next vocabulary. Next, we have
Poet.
okay, repeat after me.
Poet.
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 Okay, so let's have number 26, 5/7. Okay, sorry. Are you Tong?
On.
On. Okay, on. Please read.
Okay. A person who writes
Poems.
poems.
Okay, thank you so much, on. So, as um for Shakespeare, okay, he writes many poems, or they call it a sonnet. Okay, sonnet is actually is a 14 line poems. All right. So most of the writings of Shakespeare's is what what we call sonnet. Okay. Now let's go to our next slide. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the top 10 greatest poems in the world. So they are also, as you can see, Shakespeare is one of them. Okay, so this is the English writers and authors. All right. Now the next word we have is, how do you read this?
Comedy.
Comedy. All right. So comedy, let's have, okay, Yusuf, number 20.
Yes.
Okay, please read it for us. Comedy, what does it mean?
A type of film, play, book, or a person that is intentionally funny, either in its characters or its action.
All right, thank you, Yusuf. So, as you can see of our example here, we have Mr. Bean, okay? Okay, now let's go to our next vocabulary. All right, so this is, sorry, this is one of a comedy film as well. All right. The next vocabulary we have is history, okay? Everyone, please repeat after me. History.
History.
All right. Again, history.
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 All right. So when we say history, let's have from 5/6, number 15. Okay, what's your nickname?
None.
Non?
Yes.
Okay, please read.
This story past events considered together, especially events of a particular
Period.
time period country of subject.
Okay, so when we learn about the story of the past, okay, or event, so that is what we call history. All right. So it can be the war, okay? It can be the story of a certain person, the story of your government, okay? As long that it happens in the past, so we call it as history. Now, the next one we have is playwright. Okay, everyone repeat after me. Playwright.
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 Okay, so when we say playwright, it is a person who writes plays. Okay, example for Romeo and Juliet. Okay, so it was written and what else? Also, they also made a movie or a film about the story of Romeo and Juliet. All right. Now, let's go to our next vocabulary. We have tragedy.
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 All right. So when we say tragedy, okay, let's have from 5/6 number 5.
Teacher.
Okay, please read
Tragedy.
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 Ao may na?
Tragedy.
Okay.
Tragedy.
Papay.
A will a really sad event on situation.
Situation.
Situation. Especially
Yeah.
one
Involving
involving death on
suffering.
suffering.
All right. Thank you so much. So, tragedy is a very sad event or situation, especially one involving death or suffering. All right. So as you can see here, okay, this one of the example that we have is the Titanic. All right. So, the love story of Jack and Rose is a tragedy, alright? So, the next one we have century, okay? So, when we say century, it is a period of 100 years. So, we have what we call a decade. So, if it's decade, meaning it's 10 years, alright? But when it reach 100, okay, we call it century. All right. So, 100 years is what we call century. Now, the next one we have is romance. Okay, everyone repeat after me. Romance.
Romance.
Okay, so when we say romance, okay, romance is, can we have 5/6 number 9?
Yes.
Okay, please read.
A love story is especially
Yes.
in the form of a novel.
Okay, so romance is a love story, especially in a form of novel. Okay, now let's go to the next vocabulary we have is tragic comedy. Okay, Tukon, repeat after me. Tragic comedy.
Tragic
Tragic
comedy.
comedy.
Tragic comedy.
Okay, so when we say tragic comedy, okay, let's have number. Okay, let's have 5/6 number 2.
Yes.
Okay, what's your nickname?
And my name is Bam.
Bam. Okay, Bam, please read.
Play a story that is both sad and funny.
All right. So, tragic comedy is a play or story that is both sad and funny. All right. Now, let's go ahead with our article. Okay. So, we will know about Shakespeare more in this article. All right. So, let's have Cream. Can you please read it for us, the first and second paragraph?
Yes. Okay. William Shakespeare is an English poet and playwright regarded as the greatest writer in the English language. His plays have been translated to different languages and are the most performed among those author playwrights. He is called in England as Bard of
Avalon.
Avallon.
Okay.
Shakespeare was born and grew up in Stafford upon Avon. He got married at the age of 18 and had 3 children. He retired to Stafford at the age of 49 and then died 3 years after.
Okay, thank you. Next paragraph, Bob.
Okay. His early play are mostly comedies, and his stories he this voice
Wrote
wrote many
tragedies.
tragedies like Hamlet,
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 Dello,
The Law, and Macbeth.
Macbeth.
Macbeth. During doing his last year before retirement, he wrote
Tra-
tra-
tragic
comedies,
comedies.
tragic comedies. Also, also
Non
known as romance in the
romances.
romances in the
20th
20th 30th
century
century units. This
until
time, his work until this time, his work is
repeatedly.
repeatedly, repeatedly adopted
Yes.
and
Covered.
cover. His play remains highly
Mhm.
popular and constantly
Constantly
students constantly
studied.
studies.
Okay, thank you, Pop and Cream. Okay, so in this part, okay, I want, okay, Yusef,
Yes.
okay, can you please read it for us?
Shakespeare. Many people believe William Shakespeare is the best British writer of all time. His many works are about life, love, death, revenge, grief, jealousy, murder, magic, and mystery. He wrote the blockbuster plays of his day. Some of his most famous are
Macbeth.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, and Hamlet. Hamlet.
Hamlet. All,
Hamlet.
all right. Let's just have someone to do the conversation. Okay, first question we have what is tragic comedies? Okay, and you will answer tragic comedies is a play or a story that is both sad and funny. All right, so that is your answer for the first structure. Now, the second question we have is what is Shakespeare known for? Okay, so for me, I will answer. He is known for his writings. Okay, so about his writings about life. Okay, like about life, love, death, revenge, grief, jealousy, murder, magic, and mystery. Okay, so that is my answer for the question number 2. Okay, now I want you to answer the question number 2 based on what you understand about the article, okay, and some information about him. Okay, so for our conversation, for our first question, let's have Pop, okay, and Pop number 12, 5/7 number 12, and 5/6 number 5. Moha Kabhok number 5.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, what's your nickname again?
Phone.
Pon. Okay, Pon and Pop.
Okay. What is Titanic comedy?
Tragic comedies is play or story that is both sad and funny.
All right. Okay, good job, Pon and Pop. Okay, now the second structure question. Let's have um, Yusef and Cream.
Yes.
Okay, so you choose which do you want answer or question.
I
Question.
want to.
Uh, question.
Okay, start when you are ready.
What is Shakespeare known for?
Uh, he is known for uh he is known for his he
Famous.
writing he wrote the blockbuster plays of his day are Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, and Hamlet.
Okay, that is correct. Okay, that is correct. Cream. So he is known for his writings about the following stories. Okay, Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, and Hamlet. Okay, good job. All right.
What is tragicomedies?
Tragicomedy is lyric play or story that is both sad and funny.
All right. Okay. Next, question number 2, number 4, and number 5.
What is Shakespeare known for?
He is known for his blockbuster plays of his day. Some of his most famous are Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, and Hamlet.
Okay, good job. Okay, so before we leave, let's have Noon and Cream. Noon and Ink. Start.
What is Shakespeare known for?
He is known for his writer
Writings
writing
about
about life, love, death,
revenge,
revenge,
grief.
guilt, jealousy,
Mur-
murder, magic, and mystery.
All right. Thank you so much, Noon and Ink. Bye bye. And that is all for today.